All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and start now. We'll have other folks be joining in. So thank you everyone for taking some time out today to join us. We've got a really great session today. It's a series, our X Factor series that we're going to be starting. You'll see more of these meetings. They're going to be a 20-minute webinar, high impact content, and allow you to take something meaningful away with you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers. We've got myself, I'm the National Channel Director for Mosaic NetworX. And with us today, co-hosting Matt Hiles, the COO and founder of Mosaic NetworX, an industry veteran, many years of experience in networking and infrastructure. And the newest member of our team, which you'll hear from throughout this presentation, Justin Wilson. He's also a veteran in the industry, comes with 25 plus years in IT management, security, and consulting with companies such as Slack, Deloitte, and Lookout Mobile Security. Matt, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you now.
Thanks, Seema. Good day to everyone, and thanks for joining the X Factor series. We're looking forward to sharing some high impact content with you. Today's information isn't intended to be a sales pitch. We really want to just share some new capabilities with you today. And with that in mind, let's get started. For folks that know Mosaic, then you'll know a little bit about our history. But for those new, we'll take just a moment to share a chronology. You know, we started this company in 2007 by 3 industry veterans, all who had 20 plus years experience in fiber optic infrastructure and networking technologies. I was one of those 3 guys. We started as a non-facility based carrier, known today more appropriately as a network aggregator. We deployed circuits all over the world and continue to do that today, as good, if not better than anybody else in the business. But in 2014, there was an inflection point in the marketplace with the promise of SD-WAN. We were early adopters of that technology, and in 2015, we settled on VeloCloud after thorough evaluations. And then in 2016, we did our first SD-WAN deployment. And so we've got a lot of experience deploying both domestically and internationally with the SD-WAN technology. And then to further deepen our technical capabilities, we acquired Brew Labs out of the Bay Area, a very well-respected and known MSSP and MSP, really to bring an additional depth and breadth to our technical capabilities. So at Channel Partners, we intended to release this more broadly, the Brew Labs acquisition. So we again acquired Brew Labs, a very successful MSP and MSSP, working with technology startups in the Bay Area. Justin Wilson, who's with us today and will be speaking about some of our new technical capabilities. Again, highly respected throughout the Bay Area and beyond, with very broad experience in some household name accounts. And really, Justin's going to be sticking with Mosaic post-acquisition. He's really going to be heading up. He does head up our technology and engineering, but also will be really focused on our professional services, our SD-WAN as a service offering, and some new security offerings that we'll be talking about today. And with that, we'll hand it over to Justin.
Hey everybody, I'm Justin Wilson, as Matt said. So one of the things that we're going to be announcing, we are announcing today, is we've added security capabilities and offerings to our general services offering. So that includes capabilities such as threat monitoring and management. So we're rolling out a managed SIEM and SOC offering for the clients that need it. In addition to that, we're rolling out some pre-compliance readiness capabilities, so assisting with things like endpoint security, identity and access management, whether it's on-prem IAM or cloud managed IAM solutions like Okta and so on. In addition to that, we're going to be doubling down on our secure SD-WAN offering. So leveraging the virtual network firewall capabilities with Palo Alto, Fortinet, and others. We're also going to be talking a little bit more about Zscaler on this call, and then we're rolling that out alongside Cisco Umbrella. And all of that will be packaged together as a secure SD-WAN offering with some other capabilities layered on top of it. So as I mentioned, Zscaler is a new solution that we're rolling out as an offering. For those of you that aren't familiar with Zscaler, it's a cloud security service that works either in conjunction with an SD-WAN deployment, or it can be deployed standalone, depending on your requirements and capabilities, your customers' requirements and capabilities. It's the leader in the space for the 9th year, according to Gartner. And so there's other offerings out there, but we settled on Zscaler at the top end because we were so impressed with the offerings that they provide. For those of you that are not familiar with Zscaler, that cloud security as a service offering gives you access control, data loss prevention, threat protection, and so forth at the network level while the data is in transit and so forth, versus a traditional anti-malware application that lives on a user's computer that's scanning the files and so forth while those files are being accessed. So the goal with a tool like Zscaler is to help prevent the malicious activity from ever hitting the user's computer and so forth. It's the biggest security cloud in the world, and they're really a great partner for us, and we're excited to be offering their product. So, in addition to our security offering, we're rolling out our professional services capabilities. So we've got a large team of experienced folks. Most all of them are CCIEs, but they have experience across vendors, whether it be Juniper, Palo Alto, Meraki, and so on. So not just Velo Cloud, but also other SD-WAN offerings like Viptela. But we also have depth in storage and virtualization and so on. So really run the gamut of capabilities there. Our core focus, however, is going to be network architecture and strategy planning. Looking at things like deployments, complex configurations and so forth, as well as coming in to help troubleshoot existing problems and doing some firefighting if it's required. So if a customer's got an active problem and their team doesn't have the resources to resolve it, you can call on us and bring us in, and we'll bring our experts to the table and go through and find out where the problem is and help them with it, and help them get into a better posture for the future. But we really, really have great experience with highly complex integrations and deployments as well. So if the more complex the environment, the more our team really likes to work on it. So bring those hard problems to us. We want to solve them. There you go. So just as an example of one of those complex integrations. So this is a SD-WAN deployment that we were working on for a customer. This is an actual environment, and one of the big questions is, where do you insert the SD-WAN edge device? Because they have multiple connections coming in from multiple locations within their network. So multiple providers plus MPLS that's going to stick around, and a lot of complex routing. So the questions after a long line of due diligence and so forth is where we were actually going to insert this. So we were able to help the customer choose where this is going to go and find the best possible spot within their network to insert it to achieve all the goals that they were looking to accomplish. Matt, do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think this is a critical area for folks who either are new to SD-WAN or have done SD-WAN deployments in the past. You know, the companies have done a great job, the technology providers like Velo Cloud, in conveying the simplicity of SD-WAN, and indeed it is. but it is not, you know, zero-touch deployment. In looking at this diagram, as you said, Justin, it took a great deal of discovery and working directly with the client's network engineers to understand the right place to put this edge. And we've talked to partners who've had deployments go sideways. And it's not because there's a problem with the technology. There's nothing wrong with VeloCloud or VMware's technology. But if you don't connect it to the right port on the right device and establish the right routing protocols and the right tunnels, then that technology is not going to work. And, you know, we can't really say enough about the importance of the network assessment and discovery that's required to do a proper deployment so the customer gets all the value and all the functionality and all the promise, frankly, of SD-WAN from their deployment. So that's a good place to wrap up. I think the question that people are asking is why Mosaic NetworX? And we're doing a great deal of work to simplify technology. You know, technology is getting more complex and teams have fewer and fewer personnel to manage that complexity. And so as an agile IT infrastructure provider, you know, we're focused on SD-WAN as a service, delivering it in a highly orchestrated single vendor solution. And then, and more recently, making that offering more robust as a secure SD-WAN, and with our innovative security portfolio. Again, Justin spoke briefly about it. We'll be having additional X-Factor webinars to talk more in depth about these security products. And then global network aggregation. We've been providing this service from day one. And again, we do it as good, if not better, than anyone else out there. And professional services for complex integrations. This has really come to light in the recent past, how important it is to get the value out of your technology purpose by putting it in the right place in the customer's environment. And taking all of these and delivering them in our acclaimed bulletproof customer experience. And as many networks, one solution is our tagline. So thanks for joining. Seema, I'll turn it back over to you for any questions.
Great. We wanted to open it up to a Q&A session. Feel free to drop that into the chat box here, and I can help facilitate that. I'll give it a couple minutes here. One question that came through, are we going to be able to make this deck available to you to run through on your own and at your leisure? And absolutely, we'll go ahead and get that out at the conclusion. Everybody that's registered for the event, we'll get that out. We're also recording this webinar, and we can get you out the recording as well. All right, here's another question for you. Let's see. I have, I just lost my questions. Here we go. What global carriers are leveraging our SD-WAN? Matt, this probably is a question for you.
So, Bill, thanks for your question. And I want to make sure I'm understanding it. So the global carriers aren't leveraging our SD-WAN. We're leveraging VMware's SD-WAN and deploying it globally, you know, based on customer requirements. So, and we're leveraging the infrastructure of those global carriers to do that. And hopefully that answers your question.
Matt, can I add on to that real quick? It might be somewhat related. So one of the things to point out about how we deploy SD-WAN as well is that we're we're leveraging we obviously offer the VeloCloud solution as our core SD-WAN offering. We're leveraging the VeloCloud gateways, the VeloCloud managed gateways as a premium offering. The key there is that unlike other carriers, we're not bringing up the VeloCloud gateways, which are critical for the VeloCloud solution from a performance and redundancies perspective and optimization perspective. We're not bringing those up in our own data centers where it's convenient and cost effective for us, and leaving us with only a handful of those gateways available to our customer base. We're leveraging the VeloCloud managed offering, which has over 7,000 gateways available globally, and it's managed by the experts at VeloCloud. So we're not removed from a support standpoint if there's a problem or anything like that. We're working directly with them to provide that offering.
Okay, our next question comes from Jameson. Do you have a sweet spot in terms of client size?
Yeah, and I'll be happy to answer that one. Thanks, Jameson, for your question. Yeah, we really find that we do our best work in the mid-market size. Although we've got customers from single location to true enterprise companies, household names that we'd all recognize, but really that mid-market space is really where we find our value proposition is the most compelling.
All right, our next question is from Ron. What's the difference between leveraging VeloCloud's gateways and having your own when it comes to performance and cost?
Sure. So
Dustin, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, no problem. So from a performance standpoint, it means that if you've got a large deployment or a multi-location deployment, you're going to be closer to a VeloCloud gateway, given the number, the 7,000 plus that are being managed and deployed by VeloCloud, and that number is growing every day. You're going to be closer to one of those gateways, and you're going to get better performance to that gateway, which those gateways are in turn sitting on the doorstep of common SaaS applications in data centers such as Equinix's and so forth. So you're going to get greater performance out of that just by having that proximity to more locations. From a cost standpoint, we are leveraging the VeloCloud Premium offering to get access to those 7,000 gateways. So there is the ability to opt out of some of those gateways if you had a deployment that didn't require them. But under a traditional deployment, we would leverage those VeloCloud managed gateways. And so there may be a slight cost increase over that, over another carrier that's rolling their own and only has a handful of locations. Matt, I don't know if you can speak to that a little bit better from a non-technical standpoint as far as the cost component.
No, I think you've addressed it, and I think Bill's got some follow-on questions there. So what is the cost based on per location? So it really comes down, Bill, to the type of deployment, or I should say the scope of the customer's deployment. So there's a couple of different consumption models. One is, pure SD-WAN over the top, which is just the hardware and the software. And then the second consumption model would be SD-WAN as a service, fully managed with diverse internet links at every location. And so in that environment, as you would understand, the cost per location is going to be dramatically different than if it's just the hardware and software solution from VMware.
I think that concludes our questions. Feel free to email us. You can email us at channel@mosaicnetworks.com. That will come out to us. And we thank everybody for attending. We'll get this recording and also the slide deck out to everybody.
Thanks for joining.